welcome to Positively Palomar, a podcast powered by Palomar Pride. Today, we have the pleasure of connecting with Team Rubicon. And if you're not familiar with Team Rubicon, it is a veteran-led humanitarian organization built to serve global communities before, during, and after disasters and crises. Literally, there is no operation too large or too small. They go, and keyword is go, where disaster strikes and where the greatest need exists. I am proud to say that I'm a part of this elite group, as I am a gray shirt as well. And you'll learn more about what it is to be a gray shirt. In this episode, we will learn more about Team Rubicon and how we can get involved and how we can become mission ready and ways to give back. We are fortunate because today we have Devon Miller, Senior Communications Associate, and also Monika Barber. She's with our SoCal operations. And they are here to just really share all the things about Team Rubicon and being a great gray shirt. And also, I just want to give a quick shout out before we get started. I want to give a shout out to Tom Murphy. He's with Strategic Partnerships at Team Rubicon, and he literally made this interview happen. So much respect to all of our Team Rubicon, and I want to welcome you all to the platform. So welcome, and thank you for joining us today on Positively Palomar.
Thank you for having us.
Fantastic. Well, let's get into it, because I always feel the best way to get out information is really just to have immersive, organic conversation. And so if you could tell me a little bit about Team Rubicon, how it got started, and how we can all get involved. Monika, I'll start with you.
I love that question. So Team Rubicon was founded in 2010. In January 2010, some people may remember there was a very, very disastrous earthquake in Haiti. And Jake Wood and a couple of our other founding members had just recently finished their military service, and were sitting watching the news and said, hey, we have skills that we can help these people in Haiti with. So let's mobilize. So that's exactly what they did. And through the use of social media and texting each other's friends, getting some first responders, they collected some supplies and literally just went. They chose to go. As you said, go is the key word there. So they chose to go to Haiti to help. While they were, didn't have any idea what this would turn into, to this, organization that we see today, they just knew that they had skills they could use to help those on their worst day. So on their journey there, they were, trying to figure out a team name and what they could come up with. And so ironically, the best way for them to get into Haiti was to go to the Dominican Republic first, and then cross the Arbanite River into Haiti. And so that's where, for those of us who are history buffs, back in the Roman Empire, Caesar was coming back to Rome to take back his empire there. And when he and his troops crossed the Rubicon River, he had them burn the boats after they crossed. So it's kind of become this meaning of it's a point of no return. So that was our Rubicon River, was the Arbanite River. So that's how Team Rubicon, the name came to be. And yeah, so they went to Haiti, and it just kind of took off from there.
That is fantastic. And I have to tell you, I have been a gray shirt for just about a year now. And I didn't get that story. I was just gung-ho to wanting to get out there and doing something. And so to know that there is a historical tie, that is amazing. So thank you for sharing that. Well, speaking of, with that being said, like, how do you become a gray shirt? And I guess I'll pose that question to Devon.
Sure. So anyone can be a gray shirt. So we are veteran led. A lot of our volunteers have served in the military and are continuing their service with Team Rubicon. We also have a lot of first responders, so firefighters, police officers, but also civilians. everyday people that just want to help. So anyone listening can join Team Rubicon as long as they're over the age of 18. You just sign up on our website, teamrubiconusa.org. Sign up. You just have to pass a background check and take an online class. It's about an hour. It's actually a really good class, and learn a bit more about the history of Team Rubicon, what to expect in an operation. And then once you do those 2 steps, you're deployable and you can get out in the field and join us.
Now that's fantastic. And let me ask you this. So I am a veteran. I served in the United States Navy for 8 years. I was a yeoman when I was in the Navy, so definitely more on the administrative side. But my military experience definitely has been put to test with other organizations that I've personally partnered with. And I am not ashamed to get out there, get these nails dirty, and really be a part of boots on the ground efforts. But let's just say there's someone who wants to be involved with Team Rubicon that may have some physical limitations or just may not be inapt to be out on boots on the ground. Are there other ways that you can lend your expertise or services to be a part of this amazing organization and making a difference?
Yeah, there's so many opportunities. We have a lot of virtual volunteering opportunities as well. So we have many of our volunteers have different abilities for either for work or for their physical limitations or differences they can't get out in the field. So they help us plan operations. One of our rock star, actually Southern California volunteers, she plans operations across the country. So her focus is Southern California, but she's so skilled in what she does that she's planning operations in Florida and New York because, virtually, it doesn't matter where you are physically, your skills can be used across the country.
I love that. I feel like it has definitely been for me an immersive experience. I want to talk to you about this because I was able to participate in the Stop the Bleed challenge here locally in the San Diego County area. And not only are these obviously trainings that are there to get us mission ready and prepared to, address any concern that comes up, whether it's already, you're already in your position and you're out there in the field, but even things that you can use in your own personal life. I know that it's amazing when you have that skill set of being CPR certified and understanding that there are life-saving measures that in layman's terms everybody could use to make a difference. So can you talk a little bit about the trainings that are available just in case someone wants to not only be obviously we want to be mission ready, but also know what's available to us as far as training to become mission ready, I should say. And I guess I'll pose that to Monika. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'd love to jump in on that. Yeah, like you said, we do put a lot of emphasis on the training, and we do ideally always want to send when we deploy our gray shirts, we want to deploy them with some type of training under their belt to give them that confidence when they're going out there. So we do have some TR specific trainings, one of which being core operations, which you will learn how to muck out a house, use proper debris management according to FEMA standards, how to cut drywall and remove that. So, and also there's a lot of practical elements to that training as well that are just helpful of things to look for with how do you tell the utilities are off, or, oh, we came to a house that has solar panels. And so maybe the electrical grid is off, but this house still has, solar panels there. So what do you look for? What do you do? So that's one of our biggest ones. We also have one that's called Site Survey, which trains our gray shirts how to create those work orders that we can send a strike team out to accomplish. So they go and meet with the residents and document what is needed there. And the really cool thing about that is that we also collaborate with other NGOs. So perhaps something that is needed is not within TR's scope of work, but just because it's not within our scope of work doesn't stop there. We send that out and into a database that allow other NGOs to look at the site survey that we created and be able to say, hey, we can take this one. And that person still gets help. So that's a really cool aspect of it. Of course, we've got the heavy equipment and the sawyers, the chainsaw classes. Those are always cool. Everybody wants to do that. And then we also have, like you already mentioned, the Stop the Bleed workshops that we put on. We also have some earthquake preparedness workshops that we put on. Kind of a big deal, especially in California. It is coming. So those are the types of trainings that we have. And quite honestly, too, the other really cool thing that we do is if there is a training that would be beneficial to our gray shirts, we can host that workshop. And I use this example, it's kind of a silly one, but I tell my team, if you can come to me and tell me how basket weaving would help in a disaster zone, I'll support you. Let's get that workshop for basket weaving on and, get everybody trained up. But so yeah, we're always very, and we love the opportunity to collaborate with other people who have some skill sets that they can pass on to our gray shirts.
That is fantastic to hear. And it sounds like not only are we getting out there into the communities that we serve and making an impact and a difference, but it sounds like it gives us an opportunity to do some team building there. And, sometimes I used to always say this when I was in the military. I'm like, yeah, it's work, but you want to have fun with those that you work and that you depend on, especially, and not only protecting and serving for our communities and helping them get back where they need to be, but also for us. One of the things that I did during my Stop the Bleed challenge, there was a scenario that was set up that you were already deployed, you were working in your position, but there was an active shooter situation that came about, and these are things that are real concerns that are happening. And one of the things that I thought about is that typically when there is a natural disaster of some sort, that's when unfortunately some people decide to do unsavory things. But we also get preparedness in that way in being mindful of our surroundings and protecting each other. One, because if it's kind of like when you're on the airplane, you put your mask on and then you help someone else. So can you tell me a little bit about what a mission would look like, or typically, or even one that you have experienced yourself, just to give some of our potential new gray shirts insight on what they can expect? And
Yeah.
I'm going to pose that to both of you, actually.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick on it. So for operations, there is a process to sign up and get dispatched officially, and that's like the computer side of things where you sign up and mobilization dispatches you. Once you do get dispatched, depending on, our local ops here, there's a lot of driving ops that we have. So, our gray shirts will drive to the location that they've been given in their dispatch orders. We typically have communal billeting. So usually it's like maybe a large gym hall where we have cots set up, or maybe school room, or in some cases when we do fire mitigation for some camps, like they let us use the cabin. So it really is just a variety of ways, but really we've got that. And then you're usually welcomed by the planning section chief, and introduced and gotten squared away. You're shown where to find assignment lists, how to sign in. We document all of our volunteers' hours on operations because it does translate into funding back to that local community. So just kind of getting them situated on that. And then depending on the op, we typically will rally at 6 a.m., 6:30, have a morning brief, get everybody breakfast, then load up the trucks and go out to work for the day. And again, the lunch depends on, it varies from op to op. Some ops we do brown bag lunch, where in the morning before you leave the forward operating base, you make a sandwich and some chips and cookies. I will say everybody's super generous at Team Rubicon. I've never seen anybody starve on an op. Quite the opposite, actually. We usually have more food because people are so generous. But so yeah, they go out for the work day, typically, again, just depending on the conditions of the heat and things like that. Usually would be rolling back at 3:30 or 4 o'clock back to the forward operating base. There you would decon. We usually have a power washer to, get all that gunk that you've been walking in all day off your shoes. We always leave things TR clean, so we do wash all of the equipment that we use that day, so that the next day it's ready to just go. Then it's back to the fob, showers, usually at around 1700. We have dinner, and then after dinner, we usually have our evening brief where the command and general staff goes over what was accomplished that day. We give strike team leaders a chance to call out, any rock stars on their team and acknowledge them. And then we have our campfire time, which is where we just kind of kick back and enjoy each other's company, get to know each other better, talk about TR, and really talk about the experience of the day. I will say, like, for me, my first op was a fire recovery one, and I was cleaning up a house that had burned to the ground, and I never experienced, because you're literally picking up somebody's life, like, and you can tell, but there's nothing salvageable from it. And so, just checking in with each other and hearing those, being there for each other to hear those experiences of the day, is really our main focus on that. So, and that's pretty much a day in the life on and off, and then we get up and do it again.
I love hearing that. I love how you said checking in with each other and making sure that you're okay. I mean, we need to do that in everyday life, but especially when you're facing something so severe as trying to help a community get back on their feet. And so that's really important. Devin, has that been your experience?
Each operation is different, but there are like the battle rhythm as we call it, like the day to day is the same, but the people and the places are always different. And that's, I think, my favorite thing about volunteering with Team Rubicon is we'll send you to, small area in Kentucky or Florida, or even right here in your backyard in Southern California, and we pay for all your costs. It's hard enough to take time off of work or family or all your other responsibilities. So we at Team Rubicon try to remove as many barriers as possible. So we'll pay for your airfare, we'll reimburse you for food, parking, your Uber to the airport, whatever it is, we will reimburse you up to I believe it's about $300 out of pocket costs, not including the flight. So the flight you don't even have to pay for. We pay for it out of our pocket directly. So removing those barriers makes volunteering more accessible, because I've volunteered with other organizations where, like, oh, you pay for your own flight and your lodging, everything is covered, and that makes it more accessible. But also, you see parts of the country you never would have experienced before. Like, I went to Letcher County, Kentucky, little small county in eastern Kentucky, had some devastating flooding, a 1 in 1,000 year flood they called it, and met this woman, put everything in perspective of TR for me. She reminded me so much of my mom. Single mom, two boys, and she was just overwhelmed. She didn't know where to go, and we provided that first step to the process of recovery, and that meant so much to me. Is like, I kind of just picture my mom going through this disaster, and she would have no idea where to start. So that's where we come in. We give people that new start.
That's incredible. I have been a victim of having a home burned down, and it is true. You're shell shocked. You're looking around and you're thankful that you have your life, but you're also looking around saying, okay, how does this recovery process begin? And so knowing that people are there specifically to help and get you back on your feet and get things going, especially as a single mom. I come from a single parent family where my mom was the sole person there. And I know a lot of times, even when the house burned down, she was just like, where do we go? But she made it happen. And unfortunately, we didn't have a Team Rubicon, but that's the reason why that story right there, it touches me, because imagine if we had. And I mean, we come from meager beginnings, but in that, my mom had always told me, you must give back. You give back into our communities. You never forget. You always, if you're, what would she say? Not looking down, you're lending a hand to pull someone up. And so I feel like TR definitely exemplifies that to the umpteenth degree, even if that's a word or not. But The other thing I wanted to ask you, okay, so we know where the needs are and how to become deployable, but my thing is, how do you get started? How do you get to the point where you have your gray shirt, you have signed up for the training and all those things? Where do you get started first? I guess that would be the thing that we want to point people in the right direction. And I'll send that over to Monica.
No, thank you. So one of the main functions that we have on our local volunteer leader team is the membership function. So their main job is to reach out to every single new gray shirt and say, hey, I'm a local gray shirt with you. Do you have any questions? How can I get you started? And usually they are the ones that help facilitate, where to look for things on the roll call calendar. A lot of times they also facilitate introductions to other local leaders and, let the new members know, hey, we have this class coming, come out, meet the team, and really help them get started in that. So that's one of the first ways that we try to be proactive about that, in reaching out to new members and getting them engaged with that. And then the other thing too is important to communicate. And we've kind of touched on it, I feel like, on a couple of things, but a lot of people who join, they definitely want to help, but for various reasons, they're like, I can't commit to a 7 to 10 day deployment because I have a job and family. And I was in that same boat when I joined Team Rubicon. I was like, yeah, maybe a weekend here and there, but I work full time. I can't go. So getting people like that involved and letting them know, we have service projects that are like 1 or 2 days. You can come for just 1 day. You actually, because there's no billeting and because it's not an operation, you don't even have to be deployable yet. So to attend a service project. So I love to use that as like an opportunity for new gray shirts to just come out. And I've never had anybody not want to get deployable and get more active once they come. They're super excited, but it just kind of gives that like comfort level of taking the word operation out of it and just saying, hey, come meet some gray shirts. They're really cool people, obviously, because you joined.
Yes.
So and work with us. And so that's one of the big ways that we're really trying in Southern California, and really I think over the organization, is just to make sure that we have plenty of those service project opportunities available. And then also, of course, we have the trainings and things like that as well that they can get active in. But I've never had anybody come to a training or a service project and not want to be more involved. And then, obviously too, like one of the really unique things about Team Rubicon is how much we are driven by volunteer leaders. Like Southern California and the structure of it all. We have a state admin, we have a metro admin for each, metro area, and they have a team of volunteer leaders under them, that just gives them a better span of control to be able to build up their areas. And so that's also another way that we constantly need people to help and help with that. So that's another way for me. That's how I got involved. Is I went on my first op in July of 2018. Knew I wanted more, but I couldn't because of my job. So then next thing I know, they're like, well, we need an instructor. So can you go take a train the trainer and become an instructor? Well, we need a membership lead. Can you call people and welcome them to the tribe? And I was like, yeah, I can do all that in the evenings and weekends. That's perfect. So there are a lot of opportunities to just be involved and, no minimum requirement, whatever is best for your schedule. If you want to get active, we'll find a way to get you active.
I love hearing that because I know for me, I mean, I'm the same way. I am making sure that I'm present. I mean, my job is my bread and butter that takes care of my family, but there's also this portion of me that wants to give back and wants to be a part and want the camaraderie of being involved in such a dynamic organization. One of the things that I will throw out there at Palomar, there are no barriers. I think both you and Devon mentioned about removing all those barriers so that you are able to participate. And Palomar does that. We are not asking any of our team members to use any of their paid time off. It is paid, they are paid to go and participate. And obviously be good stewards, but also representing Palomar and making sure that we are making a difference and we're walking the walk and talking the talk. And so that's really important. And it feels good for me to be connected to both organizations, Team Rubicon and obviously Palomar, and having a platform like this to talk about what we're doing. And so it's a great space to be in. It's a great space to be in knowing that you can make a difference in lives and that much like what Devon said, you never know if it's, he saw himself or his mother and that family that he was there to help and support, but we never know when we'll be on the receiving end of that support. And it's just amazing to know that it's there and it's available to us all. And we're all able to literally do our part and go. So let's talk about Go Day before we head out. And if one or both of you can share with me about Go Day, and we'll close out with Go Day. So I'm going to pose this one to Devon. Tell me about Go Day.
All right. So Go Day, as Monika mentioned, our origin story. So it was the day that Jake Wood and the other 7, so 8 total volunteers went to Haiti to volunteer at our first ever operation. So since then in 2010, so it's going to be 14 years. January 13th is the day. We celebrate this across the country with service projects. So in Southern California, we have a bunch of local service projects. I know in the LA area, we're going to be volunteering at a food shelter. I'm sure there's going to be some in the San Diego area as well. But those interested, sign up, be a gray shirt. You don't even have to be deployable, as Monika said. Just look on our calendar. It's called Roll Call. So once you have an account, you'll have access to our calendar. See what's in your area. January 13th. Or any other day, we have service projects across the country for you to even spend a few hours. If you don't have time for a full week, just a few hours is all we ask.
I'm here for that. I can commit a few hours to that. And I just love the concept of Go Day. It's just like, let's go, let's get out there and get it. And then you know that there are a bunch of other people that are wanting to be a part of this and participate. So January 13th, you go onto the Team Rubicon website, look under roll call, and there you go. You go. Do you have any parting words before we close out today? And I'll start with you, Monika, and I appreciate you both being here.
No, I appreciate you giving us the opportunity. This is a topic I could talk about all day long. I love it. But I think the main thing that I just try to communicate to anybody who's thinking about joining Team Rubicon and getting involved with us is just do it, try it, sign up, no matter what your level of time is that you can give or what you're, comfortable with in terms of, your physical comfort level of jobs. There is something for you to do as long as you have that desire in your heart to be of service. We will find a job for you. We're really good at that here in Team Rubicon. We'll put you to work. And we're also like, it's very inclusive and very welcoming. I went to my first stop and I didn't know a single person that was there at all. And within the first 10 minutes, I was on a strike team and just felt completely embraced and, brought into the organization and part of the team. So that's just my encouragement to everybody. And like I said, just try it, sign up, come out for a day of the service project, see if you like it, meet us, and then, you can decide. You can always, make whatever decision you feel is best for you after, but I'm pretty confident in that if you come out and serve with us, you'll be hooked.
Absolutely. And what about you, Devon? Any parting words for us with regards to just TR, Go Day, and encouraging folks to come out and be a part of this tremendous organization?
Yeah, thank you. Well, first, thank you for having us. And for anyone listening, I just want to encourage you to take that first step. I know it's sometimes intimidating, especially, in disaster response. It's, what can I do in a disaster? You can do a lot more than you think. And one thing that we are trying to do in Team Rubicon as a whole is build resilience. So if your community, for whatever reason, is impacted by a disaster, we want to make these communities resilient themselves so they don't need our services. Obviously, we're still here to help, and we will meet those unmet needs. But our goal is to build communities that are strong and that can take care of themselves, and we just help out a little bit. So join us, take that first step, and you never know where it can go.
Absolutely. All the cool kids are doing it. Become a gray shirt with Team Rubicon, and you will not be disappointed. I mean, who doesn't want to have an impact in someone's life and make a difference and really supporting the communities in which we serve? And so, with that being said, I want to thank you both for joining us today to talk about becoming a gray shirt, going out, doing service projects, being a part of a strike team. I mean, it's all good. This is something that you'll want to do over and over. So with that being said, I hope to see you all out at a January 13th Go Day and participate and give back. So take care and have a wonderful day. And thank you both for joining me.